Happy Monday! This is Genevieve and today I'm coloring Sailor Venus. I'm starting out with my line art on the paper I'm using is Express It blending card, and this is probably my favorite paper to use with Copic markers. It has a really smooth finish and it takes the ink really well. It doesn't bleed too much, and you can do layer upon layer to get really good depth with even single colors. So I'm just going in with my skin white, which is E00, and laying down the base color. And you'll see that I'm leaving kind of lighter areas on the cheeks and the nose. That's where the skin is highlighted. And then I'm just going to lay down a base on all of the other skin areas as well. Sometimes I'll do just the face first and do all the shadowing and everything there and then move on to the other parts, but sometimes I just stick with one color. The nice thing about Express It blending card is that even if you let the ink dry, you can still go back and blend really well with it. So now I'm using Barley Beige, that's E11, for my shadows on the skin, and I'm doing shadowing under the hair and on the eyelids, where the cheekbones are, and around the nose. And it's kind of hard to tell because I've sped it up a lot, but when I'm doing shadows, I brush outward. The place where you put the marker down initially is always going to have heavier ink, and then when you brush it outward, you can get lighter ink effects toward the end of your stroke. Now I'm doing the cheeks in T Rose, I think, E93, and then I darken it with E95, and now I'm using E000 to just blend. I kind of think of the 000 colors as good blending colors for whatever color family you're working in, because they're so pale. They'll add just a little bit of color, but they'll blend everything else together really nicely. So now I'm going back in with E00 to blend the lines together. And the eyes. The base, I start with the lightest blue. I always like to work light to dark. And I go in with a medium blue. And I do a really dark blue just under the lash line. And now I'm using the lighter blue to blend everything together again. And the same with the lips. I start with my lightest pink, go in with a medium pink, do a really dark pink right between the lips, and blend everything together again. Now I'm going to do my grays, and I'm using the neutral grays here. So I do an N4 right underneath the lashes, and then an N2 a little further down, and I blend it all with N0. I'm doing the white part of her uniform in N2, blended with N0. And this is her bow, which is a blue color. It's kind of almost navy. So I start with a lighter blue, but then the shadow will give it a darker look overall. There's not much of it to see, really, so not much to do there. And orange. Orange is tricky. I find I have a hard time blending oranges and reds because it's hard to get good color variation. So I'm actually starting with a yellow-red color here. I think this is yellow ochre for the base. And then I've got, I'm going to go in with my pumpkin orange here and start adding some more orange color to it. And then I've got a more straight on orange color to add even more depth. Can't forget the little jewel. And I think I decided that it wasn't a deep enough orange color for me, so I went in with an even oranger shade. And just kind of went around the edges with it. Yeah, it's much more orange looking. I didn't want it to be too yellow. But if you just go with straight orange, then it just kind of looks like a flat orange color. Now the red hair bow. Never really understood why Sailor Venus had an orange uniform but a red hair bow. But anyways, start with kind of a lighter red and then blending darker reds into it. And this is what I mean. With reds, it's hard to get good shadows in there because those are 3 different shades of red, but there's not really that much definition. I'm using mustard yellow and lionette gold for her, for the actual gold of her little circlet thing there. Now for her hair, got a really pale yellow base, that's Y11 there. I'm actually using the broad, the chisel end of the marker for that. Now I'm cutting into her bangs with the brush end. You see I leave a white area there for the shine on her bangs. And they just fill in really well with the Y11 there. Now I'm going to come in with Y15 and add shadow on the bottom side of her bangs and in the part of her hair. And I always like the hair to be lighter towards the outside and darker towards the bottom and as it gets closer to the neck. Now I've got I'm going in with Y11 again to blend a little bit. Now this is Y19, and I'm adding even more depth. Sometimes I like to take the darkest shade along the lines that I draw in the hair for texture. Add a little more to the bottoms of the bangs and to the part in her hair, the top. Now I'm doing the background. And I've done my Sailor Scouts, each has a background that matches their color. So I'm doing a light orange, which is basically a peach color. And I'm leaving a white outline around her just to kind of make her pop a little bit from the background. And once I have this base down, I'm going to come back in with a slightly darker shade and kind of do sort of a informal gradient here. And then I come back with the lighter shade and kind of blend that in really well, just to give a little depth to the background. Now I've got a white, opaque white watercolor, or gouache, I guess, paint that I'm going to do the highlights with. My favorite way to do highlights is with a white gel pen, but mine is out of ink, so this works too. And there it is. She's all done.